Are you running the show tonight?
I am. Okay. All right, I'd like to call the Plan Commission meeting to order at 6:30. Let's see, would everyone please rise for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mic check for all of our board members. All of our mics on? Okay. And everyone on Zoom, can anybody having issues hearing? Okay. Who is doing our roll call tonight, Adam?
Andy's out on vacation, so Mr. Justice here, Mr. Snyder absent, Ms. Hoffa
Here.
Mr. Sturdivant absent, Ms. Jeske,
Here.
Ms. Layden,
Present.
and Mr. Stein present.
All right, thank you. So obviously our chairman is not here tonight. I'm co-chair, so I'll be handling the meeting. Let's see here. First thing on our agenda tonight is last month's meeting minutes. Has the board had an opportunity to look over them? Are there any additions, corrections? All right, then I'm looking for a motion to pass.
Motion to approve previous minutes.
That is second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I'm
Any-
abstaining.
And any abstain? All right, thank you.
Amanda, the one thing I wanted to point out is that our town attorney, Alex Intermill, had wanted us to update the format of our agendas a bit to tweak it. And we've done that for all of our town meetings, whether it's council, plan commission, BZA, et cetera. So one other step that you have to do as a group is to
Okay.
approve the meeting agenda. That's just in case there are any last minute additions or things like that. So
Okay,
if you
Motion
want
to approve the
Yeah.
agenda.
okay, so you want that done then before the meeting minutes then,
in the future, yeah.
in the future,
But
okay,
for
because I
today's-
typically ask if there's any difference, but want to make sure we're getting it in the right order.
For sure.
Okay, so then we're going to go back to number 3. Do I have a motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And I guess that's probably prior to that, I should have asked if there was any additions or corrections for Adam.
There are none.
Okay, I'll get in the groove here eventually. Okay, see. Looks like we have one new business on our docket tonight. It's case number RZ01-2023 at 600 and 602 Vitality Drive. It's a rezone for Vernon Township property.
We had a, you need to.
Oh, shoot. See, I'm not used to that yet. Vote for the,
The agenda.
okay, table that one for a second. Now I gotta put my glasses. Do I have a vote to approve the meeting agenda? Is that what you're looking for?
We motioned and
Oh.
seconded. You just need to call for the ayes and nays.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right,
There.
motion carries. I'll get around to this here in a minute.
Oh, no worries.
See, you sprung it on me backwards.
Now we need to do them. We need to vote for the. Never mind.
Yeah,
We're
we
good.
did that one,
You're
right?
good. Yep,
Okay,
we
okay.
did. We're good.
Thanks, Brittany, because I'm a little, okay, so now we're on to new business. I'll get this together. So now we're on to the new business for the Vernon Township property.
All right.
Yeah.
So for the record, I'm Adam Zaklakowski, the Planning and Building Director for the town. The only item on our agenda tonight is the Vernon Township property rezone. And for this case, it involves a rezone of approximately 10.77 acres from commercial neighborhood, CN, to institutional, IN. There are 3 parcels involved. They have been owned by the township since 2017. It includes the township office building, which is the former Hancock Health Medical Office, a township fire station, and undeveloped property at the south. And the request is to simply clean up the zoning to make it consistent with the use of the land. Frankly, the CN zoning is a leftover from when Hancock Health owned the property. And they are looking to put community gardens on the property and a fire training facility. And hopefully the new Vernon Township Library will be located on the site as well. If we take a look at the aerial photo, the parcel map, you can see the 3 parcels with the red boundary around it. It's right at that southwest corner of US 36 and Vitality Drive. Over to the west is the old Seals ambulance building. There's a private company in there now called Secure Tech Solutions. To the north across the street is where the BP gas station is under construction. To the south are some agricultural fields in unincorporated Hancock County. And then over to the east, to the right on your screen, is the Mercy Road Church, as well as a small commercial office building. So if we take a look at the zoning, you can see that everything in pink on the map is commercial neighborhood, CN. That area to the south in the county is residential 1.0. Over to the north, we've also got CN zoning. And then on both sides, we have various degrees of grandfathered business zoning that was originally done in Hancock County, and we recognize that zoning today as part of our ordinance. Just for reference, you can get a sense of the plans that the township is looking to undertake. You can see the community gardens that are out on the south end, the possible library that would be located adding on to the existing township office building. And then to the south, that building could be extended even further. Also, there's a fire training facility that's located in the rear of the property that would be used, of course, by Vernon Township Fire Department. So really, when this entire project was being proposed by the township, we said, well, now's the appropriate time to really take care of this minor zoning issue, and they agreed. In terms of town council comments on this request, the first reading or the introductory reading of the ordinance occurred on June 19th, and you've got a copy of that in front of you. And the council appeared to be supportive of the request. In terms of the community response on the request, all the public hearing requirements have been met, and that included the typical sign posting, mailing to nearby property owners, newspaper publication, and we're not aware of any remonstrance. So as is the case with any rezone, if you'll recall, there are some evaluation criteria that you're required to at least consider as part of your recommendation under Indiana law. So we'll go quickly through each of these right now. And what you have in italics is the staff opinion that you're more than able to adopt as part of your recommendation, if you wish. So the first question is this rezone consistent with the comprehensive plan? I'd say that technically, no, it isn't. The town of Fortville future growth concept map from March 2016, which I'll show momentarily, identified these parcels as commercial. However, the plan was done prior to the township's acquisition and use of these parcels for a government purpose. And when we use the term government, it also means institutional purpose. And additionally, that map is over 7 years old and it's in the process of being updated. So as you can see there, back in 2016, the plan was to have commercial on that property. Second one, is it consistent with current conditions and character of current structures? Answer is yes. This is one of the motivating factors for doing this rezone, is to ensure that the zoning matches the current use of the land as institutional. Number three, is it consistent with the most desirable use of land? I'd say that the township purchased the land and it's being used as a public property. Additionally, the land at the southern portion of this rezone is intended for uses that benefit the public, such as a community garden and a fire training facility. The area near the office building is ideal for a new library, so it definitely fits that criteria quite well. Number four, is it consistent with conservation and property values? I'd say yes. A well-planned community with easily accessible public facilities in prominent areas will help to ensure strong property values throughout the community. And then lastly, is it consistent with responsible growth and development? I'd say yes, it is. It's really the same response as with that previous evaluation item number 4. Additionally, making more use of publicly owned land for additional uses that benefit the public, such as a library, community gardens, fire training facility, is a wise use of land, and it makes for efficient use of tax dollars. So I also wanted to mention that for each of those criteria, you don't necessarily need to have straight yeses across the board, but it's just a part of your evaluation to be aware of those things and decide what you think is right accordingly. And then lastly, in terms of my recommendation, I'd recommend that the Plan Commission grant a favorable recommendation to the Town Council for the rezone. So if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to address them. Ms. May, the Township Trustee, is here, as well as the Township's attorney.
Thank you, Adam. Does anyone here on the board have any questions or clarifications from Adam on the presentation? All right. Then we have time in the agenda for the petitioner to come up if there's any additional information. If you'll just come to the mic, say and spell your name and how you represent the case, please.
Good evening, members of the commission. My name is Jeff Bellamy, B-E-L-L-A-M-Y. I'm here on behalf of the township, and we filed this petition in collaboration with your planning staff. It had just been identified that the property, oh, hey, this is zoned commercially and we don't have anything to sell, and nor do we ever intend to. And so 23 years ago, I may have sat in a position not unlike Adam, maybe in time would have risen to a position like Adam. And I don't like things to be inconsistent in the zoning and the use. I started life out as a planner, so I saw the value of, oh, hey, we probably ought to bring these things together in terms of consistency. I agree with everything that he's presented. It's hard to give you a lot of information about the very simple thing. I call it corrective. I think he used a much better term of it's a cleanup to make sure that the use and the zoning are consistent with each other. I don't ever want to show up at a hearing like this empty-handed in the instance that someone else shows up with full hands. So I did make this presentation for you. However, it's really consistent with what Adam has given you. I did have a couple of items in here, just photographs of the actual open areas. You could go out and see them if you needed to, but the areas directly behind the township office is also the fire station. Also, the area behind the fire station where the community garden expansion would be. He had the pro forma or the rendering of the potential development plan where the garden would be. That's a very interesting and exciting project. The footprint of the library is merely proposed. We don't know exactly how that all will fit onto the site. There's a ton that's pending that could change on that. So probably in the hierarchy of uses, fire training ground, very likely, community garden, pretty likely, library, we'll see. But obviously it doesn't take much to drive around town and understand where the hopes and wishes are of the community that it'll remain here. And this would be one modest thing to help that. And then just solely in my very rudimentary graphic artist skills, I took the rendering and placed it on the site plan so you could get some sense of how it would fit with the actual aerial. So we're happy to answer any questions. Don't want to belabor any of these points and would appreciate your favorable recommendation, but we'll be happy to answer anything you'd like to know.
All right. I'll go ahead and have you have a seat right now, and then we'll call you back up if we have any additional questions. Yes.
Nothing's under contract. This is cleanup. We don't have anything where many projects will sure come. It's like, well, this is under contract or this is about. We don't have anything other than these are plans and aspirations. So just want to make sure that's clear.
All right, thank you. We now have time for public response for or against the project. All right, I don't see any. How about, let's see. Do we have any government officials here that would like to come and say anything? And again, I see shaking of heads. All right, so now for the board, do we have any questions for our petitioner?
Do we know what the fire training ground like would look like? Is it going to be a test building? Is it just going to be open space to bring stuff in? I'm more just curious than anything else.
Please say and spell your name when you come up, please.
Florence May, last name M-A-Y. I'm the Vernon Township trustee.
Thank you.
The fire training ground is likely going to be, there's like stacked containers. And with the guidance of the town, you will note we have got a berm already up. It's not a very attractive berm right now, but it's about 12 feet tall. And we will be growing grass and pollinator flowers over the top of that so that the containers will be, what was the word you used? Concealed or
It sounds like something I'd say.
I think those were the words. And then there will be likely 2 concrete pads poured back there so that they can bring apparatus to, Dan would probably better be able to describe this, to cut them apart and do practice rounds. The containers are so that they can do test trainings
yeah.
to crawl through dark and smoky and all sorts of, they'll put stuff in
And
it.
they're not like regular containers, they'll be painted nice and, I mean, they look good, so.
They're built
Right.
to look like a mini training facility.
So
So
there'll be stairways in them and just different stuff in them to maneuver through.
Adam, I got a quick question. Is that something that all of this will go to you, or does it come back to the plan commission? Is there a need for it to come back to the plan?
Yeah,
commission?
that's a good question. I would say there's a possibility that it may have to come back to the plan commission as a site plan. Because it is kind of it's an institutional project. And I believe institutional projects still do have to go to this body for review. But we'll look into that in more
Okay.
detail as to whether or not it just be a staff review or
Alright.
come back.
Yeah, that-
There's also some benefit to bringing in front of this body anyway, so the public can see it and get an idea as to what their government's doing.
and as Jeff said, we are quoting those. It is very, very expensive and we have to buy a ladder truck first. So it's going to be some time before those come. So don't expect anything soon.
So the training grounds, I'm expecting for the fire training, like we're gonna you'll light those on fire for testing at some point. If you had
Probably
them?
more smoke.
Is there any risk that we're gonna have like localized air pollution for the garden and the library when that happens, or is that something that we'll be able to plan for?
Mm.
I would just hate to see that become the wrench in the gear later on.
It's not real fire, it's mostly inside the things, the smoke. They do have
It's in-
some contained fires inside, but it's not like coming out. And it sits pretty far back in the back of the property
Okay.
too,
Yeah.
so.
I think it's cool. I would
It's
just,
about
like I
3
said,
acres.
I'd hate for us to plan all this and hopefully, draw the library here and then suddenly have that come up as a major issue if we can see it coming down the road.
I mean, Lawrence has one, Marion County's got one. I mean, they're sitting right out in.
You'd be surprised. They're in,
Yeah, they're hard to know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Visual screening and also. Gonna be in these locations, be fit, be ready, to freak out, stress out. So they're really not trying to create, there'll be some smoke from natural gas combustion. But they're not trying to take the environment. That's not the type of.
Right, right.
Inside these structures, and they have, what do you call them? They're like ventilating systems. So it's not gonna be like a bonfire, and it's not gonna be like you're gonna see smoke pouring. And I'm hesitating a little bit because we don't know which one we're buying or if we're even able to, like, the system we've been looking at is about $150,000. And like I said, we've got a $2 million ladder truck to buy first. So we're looking quite down the ways. We're also looking at if CSX will, they have a number of grants for fire training facilities and fire departments that are right on the railroad track. And since their trains keep hitting our vehicles, we are going in for funding from them as well. So this is going to take a while.
All right.
Good questions. I'm just not sure
Yeah.
we fully know the answers at this point.
All right.
Like I said, I think it's a great idea. I'm in support of almost all of this. I would just hate, like I said, if it's not, if it's a non-issue, it's a non-issue. I would just, like I said, I didn't know what I didn't know, and you explained it very well. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Right. Do any other board members have any comments or questions? All right. Well, I am looking for a motion to either approve, deny, or approve with conditions.
I would like to make a motion to approve case number RZ-01-2023 600 and 602 Vitality Drive rezone.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, well, I think that was the only item on our agenda tonight. So the last thing on the agenda is looking for a motion to adjourn.
And actually, before you do so,
Yep.
if you'd be so kind as just to sign the minutes.
Okay.
And then sign the planning commission certification document.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. So I wasn't sure.
Okay, I can help you fill it out afterwards.
So looking for a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Thank you so much. Motion carries.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you.